we had to flip the script here at AFR. We're used to being a niche lender. Things took a while. There were tough loans dealing with that. And that doesn't work in that conventional like manila space that we've grown so much.
I'm Diego Sanchez, president of Housing Wire, and this is 10 Minute Talks. My guest today is Rob Pieklo, president and COO of American Financial Resources. Rob, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you so much for having me. So glad to make the 10-minute talk.
Before we dive in, could you give a brief introduction of yourself and AFR?
Sure. I'll be as brief as possible. I tend to rant when I talk about this. But yeah, I am president and COO. It's been a long journey for me. I've been in the business for quite some time and have come full circle. Actually started my career at AFR and ended up as one of the junior partners and sold AFR back in 2017, 2018, and took about a 5.5 year hiatus from AFR and had an opportunity to work with a fund to come back and purchase AFR with the help of proprietary capital and a fund that was raised by them. And we were able to purchase AFR back in February, and they asked me to take over as a chief operating officer and eventually as president. So excited to be back here at AFR.
What an interesting story. Tell me more about that journey. First of all, stepping away from the company for several years, but then getting involved with investors to buy it back.
Yeah, it was a long journey. It was interesting. So I actually left in 2018 and got to work with a friend in the business, and a gentleman actually was appointed to run Ditech Financial. If you remember Ditech, it was a kind of distressed public mortgage entity. I got to run originations. It was supposed to be a short stint. So I went from AFR, which is a medium-sized company, to this large kind of distressed public company, and got to kind of see that. Got to run originations, correspondent, wholesale, and the retail division there. And we cleaned it up and ended up getting that company sold to New Res. And then I just opened a brokerage. I just opened a small, just want to get back to my origination roots that I did in 2003 through 2010, and just opened a small broker shop with one of my friends. And it was interesting to kind of see that world again. And we had been on the wholesale side and kind of understood how it worked a little bit, but from the front end, trying to work with wholesale companies and kind of living in that space when the opportunity came for actually it's a really full circle moment. It was a high school friend left a large company called PennyMac. I'm sure you've heard of them, and went to a fund. They were interested in purchasing an originator, and they asked me if I can help them find a target. And I was like, I think I know somebody. So there was an opportunity. They shared the same belief that the wholesale channel was something that was going to continue to grow. And then we worked on that. And then kind of halfway through that process, as I was consulting for them for the target piece, they asked me to if this were to close, if I can come on and help run the company. So it was an exciting full circle moment, get to work and talk to friends, but have that same mindset and dealing with a capital raise and having investors that are long-term focused on the mortgage business and share the same vision that we have for AFR and the new AFR.
So is there a big focus at the new AFR on the wholesale channel?
There is, yeah. So we have a very small retail division that focuses on specialty products. They do an amazing job for a lot of manufactured home dealers and doing one-time closed construction loans and renovation loans. So they have a really good core business there. Our wholesale channel, we have lots and lots of brokers. So they were known as a niche player. They didn't really get into the normal, I would say like vanilla loans. And we knew that there was an opportunity since we had so many approved brokers already. It wasn't a challenge to go get more customers. It was about getting, wallet share within those customers. We weren't getting a ton of business from the approved clients. So we just saw that this wholesale, this opportunity and the kind of migration of a lot of retail originators going in to be a little more entrepreneurial in their business and get into the broker channel. Obviously, number one lender in America has been promoting the channel for quite some time, and we know they've done an incredible job of getting people into the channel. And we thought there was just this incredible opportunity to kind of change the face of what kind of business comes to AFR just by providing some different service levels and different pricing mechanism and rebuilding some of the technology that's here. And that seemed to work so far. So we're kind of knocking on wood here that we continue down that path and continue to grow at the levels we've been growing in the wholesale channel.
You've got two real juggernauts in the wholesale channel. You already mentioned UWM, but Rocket TPO is also a major presence, and they just hired a new GM and I think have intentions of growing in the wholesale channel in 2025. How do you compete, or do you compete with those two juggernauts in wholesale to grab market share for yourself?
That is the beauty of the wholesale channel, right? And I love the channel so much because not only do the originators out there that work for the brokers have to fight tooth and nail for every loan, we have to fight tooth and nail for every single loan. We're battling some incredible companies, UWM, Rocket. These guys are amazing. Their technology stacks, what they have. We look for spots where we can provide a different level of service, different level of expertise, and with our team members as experienced as they are, if you couple that with some of the things we can do in capital markets and how we can execute, we've been able to, make a dent, a very small dent. It's like a rounding error for them, but for us, it's a lot of business. But every single day when you wake up, we're competing with, and it's a challenge for our team members as well, because we're competing with these juggernauts. And we know, if our systems are down for, an hour, there's oh, I'll just take the loan over here. And then we'll get it approved quickly. So every single day we have to continue to get better. We think there's opportunity. We think that there's, brokers want choice. And you've seen that they've knocked out a lot of choice out there. A lot of people have left the wholesale channel. That's why we love the channel so much, actually, is kind of we're running in going, brokers need options, and we want to be one of those options. It can't just be two players. Can't just be three players. The beauty of the wholesale channel is that there's optionality and that we get to battle and we get challenged every day to be better. So we're seeing that. We're seeing the opportunities kind of arise. More brokers want to work with different lenders. They want to have, 5, 6, 10 lenders that they consistently work with. And we're doing a pretty good job of earning that opportunity with them.
Seems like the three main competitive factors in wholesale are obviously rate, hugely important, but then there's tech and service levels, right? How are you differentiating yourselves at AFR across those three variables?
Yeah, for us, we talked a little bit about this. I do a lot of stuff on LinkedIn talking about this, and we really focus in on bringing capital markets to the broker's hands. That's something that a lot of lenders don't do. We are incredibly transparent. We try to pass through, instead of it being loans come in and generally a mortgage company will take their loans and figure out a way to optimize the execution on those loans. We kind of look to the secondary markets first. What is the axe out there? What is it that people are asking for? Is it non-owner occupied? Is it certain loan balances? What is it that is really, that people are really buying up right now? How do we get that pricing, that those incentives pass through to the broker channel? So that's what we've been focused in on right now for us in terms of finding niches. So, there's a niche in the space with some of the lower loan balances. There's way more stories in the capital markets world than there used to be. 5 years ago, there was a handful. Now the spreadsheets go on and on of different opportunities and different ways to package loans. So we're taking that information and that pricing and those incentives, those pay-ups, passing that through to the broker channel, and brokers are loving it. So we're differentiating ourselves that way. Again, much more transparent than what they're used to seeing in terms of rate sheets. And my rate sheets can make your head spin. There's so many different ways to have pricing show up based on note rate and loan size. But we pass that through, and then we have our own proprietary portal. We're not like the typical, wholesaler that kind of wants to dabble in the business and they're using a off-the-shelf portal. We have our own portal. So we've built that portal. We're creating experiences and continue to update it every single day. We're making different changes and updates to that portal. So we have an experience that's ours, not somebody else's. And we've been doing that. And then on the service levels, we had to flip the script here at AFR. We're used to being a niche lender. Things took a while. There were tough loans dealing with that. And that doesn't work in that conventional manila space that we've grown so much. So we've really made a focus on mindset of the team members, obviously some process changes and technology changes internally, but really flip the script. So now, where we went from being about 2 to 3% conventional to being around 50% conventional in our product mix today.
Rob, I really appreciate you taking the time today to walk the audience through what you're working on at AFR. Good luck to you in 2025.
Oh, thank you so much, Diego. Thanks for having me.